News broke this week that the Pentagon had apparently suppressed a report that indicated that it had wasted at least $125 billion. And that might be a conservative estimate. Now, the Defense Business Board, along with McKinsey, which is one of the consultants brought on to do this report, conducted the study, which produced a 2015 report titled Transforming DoD's Core Business Processes for Revolutionary Change, which sounds exciting. You can get your copy at Barnes & Noble. And so they went through a lot of the business and bureaucratic behind-the-scenes work at the Pentagon, which is massive, as we're going to get into, and showed some of the ways that that they are, like a company, wasting large amounts of money. So the Washington Post found that the study, commissioned by Deputy Defense Secretary Robert O. Work, was hidden because of fears Congress would cut defense spending. So it indicated that they could save up to $125 billion under certain estimates. And apparently the Deputy Defense Secretary felt like, well, if they find out about that, they will attempt to cut that much money from the budget, which would, of course, be dire from his point of view. The report ultimately found that the Defense Department was spending more than $134 billion on business operations every year. Business operations, not like bombing operations, but just the business. And the board putting the study together decided to propose that the Pentagon try to save $125 billion over a 5-year period, which is, of course, a small portion of that total amount and a far smaller portion of the total budget of the Pentagon, which is, of course, absolutely massive over any 5-year period. Now, Pentagon leaders originally liked this idea because they felt like, well, if they could save that much money in the business operations, then they could buy actual like military hardware and material and that sort of thing. Incredibly large amounts of it too. Something like 3,000 F-35 jets. Something like I believe it was like a huge amount of Army brigades.
50 Army brigades.
Yeah, and 10 aircraft carrier strike groups. I mean, these are huge amounts of funds that they could put into that. But some Pentagon leaders said they fretted that by spotlighting so much waste, the study would undermine their repeated public assertions that years of budget austerity had left the armed forces starved of funds. Instead of providing more money, they said, they worried Congress and the White House might decide to cut deeper. Now, in response to all this, Robert O. Work, the Deputy Defense Secretary who put together the study in the first place, said, there is this meme that we're some bloated giant organization. Although there is a little bit of truth in that, I think it vastly overstates what's really going on. We're the largest bureaucracy in the world. There's going to be some inherent inefficiencies in that. And that is his defense to the charges that they suppressed this report to stop their funds from being cut.
Okay, so if I knew Robert O. Work, the number of times I would say, let's go to work, would be immeasurable. But Robert Work is similar to me because he writes in the emails over and over, like, they're like, okay, now we're going to really dive into the numbers here, and we are seeing some real inefficiencies. And he's like, let's go hunting, let's cook. He writes emails like that. And in the beginning, Robert Work, so he's my kind of guy.
Yeah, I noticed.
In the beginning, Robert Work is a good guy. He's the second in charge. He orders up this report. He unleashes them. This bureaucracy at the Pentagon is really hard to get past. You know what they do? All these different former defense secretaries, 3 different ones since 1997, have commissioned these kind of studies, and they all die because the bureaucrats in the Pentagon just sit around and go, yeah, let's just wait till he's out of office. And the defense secretaries get turned around so quickly that they do. They come out of office, and then they're like, ha, we never cooperated with you. But Robert Work got them to cooperate with this particular group in this particular study, so he did a great job. The problem was, after all this, let's go hunting, let's go cook, and then they present him the findings, and he's like, oh, damn! He's like, I didn't know it was going to be that much money. No. Bury it. Mm-hmm. Bury the report immediately. Let's go to work putting this 6 feet under. So then he turns around and becomes one of the bad guys. Now, if you're a Republican, there's plenty of Democratic bad guys in here, so you're going to be happy. Okay, and there's one good Republican in here, you're going to be happy. The business companies involved in the study were the good guys, you're going to be happy. Okay, if you're progressive, you're thinking, I told you it was bloated and it was the Pentagon. Of course it was the Pentagon. So, and if you're a fan of facts and reason and logic, okay, well, here it is. So let me break it down further. So they commissioned this report, and it is done by one guy who's a private equity guy. You like him already, right, if you're a Republican? Very, very wealthy. And he's out of Florida. And then they bring in McKinsey. McKinsey's one of the top consulting firms in the world. very well respected. And here, I think they did a fantastic job. They actually came in and first estimated, just, hey, opening salvo, what percentage would be inefficiency in a normal company, and this isn't a company, it's a government bureaucracy and the largest one in the world, so they estimated a big number for how much they could save through inefficiencies. It turns out it was 50% of what they actually found. So the number was actually much larger than even McKinsey expected.
Yeah.
And work got all of them, all the different bureaucracies to work with McKinsey and to work with the board, and they opened up all their books to him. So they actually got it done, and it existed. Now they said, now whatever you do, this report is not to go public. So the guy who actually buried the report, based on my reading of this story, is, and I think anybody who reads it reasonably assumes it comes to this conclusion, is the defense secretary right now for President Obama, Ash Carter. The good guy was Chuck Hagel, who was the defense secretary earlier for Obama, but who is a Republican out of Nebraska. Now, Hagel is one of those old school guys who, from time to time, even as a politician, will actually tell you what he thinks, and from time to time actually wants to do good work. So he opposed Bush when it made sense. I thought he supported him far, far too much. And, he'd give you a little bit, and then he'd say, he'd bring it back and drive you crazy by supporting insane Republican ideas. But from time to time, he'd be like, wait, did Chuck Hagel just say something really correct and logical? And the answer is yes. So he helped to commission this report. He was in favor of this study. And then Ash Carter comes in. They see the report. And Ash Carter's one of those Obama guys who are like, all corporate, and he's like, and new age, and he's like, I don't mean hippie, I mean like, we're gonna use high tech, and we're gonna get the Silicon Valley involved in the Pentagon, and we're gonna fix, like, Obama loves stuff like that. We're gonna get Silicon Valley involved in education. By the way, part of his huge donor base is in Silicon Valley.
Of course, yeah.
So, and that's not an accident either. So Ash Carter comes in and goes, we would save $125 billion over 5 years? I don't think so. He wouldn't even meet with the guys who did the study.
Yeah.
Then they unleashed every piece of the bureaucracy they had against them, against the study. And by the way, if you're a Republican, you always complain about big government. There is no larger part of the government than the Pentagon. In fact, it is the largest bureaucracy in the entire world. You know who makes independent media possible? You guys. Because of you, we can actually do this show free of any outside influence. That's what makes us so strong. Become a member today. tytnetwork.com/join. You are the media.